Am I the asshole for refusing to do a gender reveal cake for someone? My 23 female ex-husband 35 male and I have 1-year-old twins together, and due to a lot of complications from that pregnancy I got a partial hysterectomy. We divorced during my pregnancy after I discovered he cheated on me. He's a good dad and his girlfriend is now pregnant. He cheated on me with his current girlfriend, but she didn't know he had a wife at the time, and I firmly believe that. I run a pretty successful baking company in our small town and I do custom desserts including gender reveal cakes. My husband's girlfriend called me and asked if I would be willing to do a gender reveal cake for them and said it would mean a lot. The mother of her baby's siblings made the cake for the party. I told her I had to think about it but eventually told her no. I am admittedly incredibly bitter at my ex for cheating on me while I was bedridden and medically fragile being pregnant with his children, and I don't want to be involved in the celebration of their new child. I did specify that it wasn't her, but I couldn't do it and she said all right and hung up. My ex then called me and told me I was being rude and unreasonable and completely unprofessional putting our issues before my business. I told him I was allowed to refuse service to anyone and hung up on him. I feel like I have let my feelings get in the way of my business, and if I made the cake it's not like I have to be there to celebrate. On the other hand, I do feel like I'm allowed to refuse business however I see fit. Am I the asshole? Edit. I am not a single mother, so please don't misinterpret my post as me being a sad single mom bitter my ex is happy and I am not. I got married in November to a wonderful woman and my husband and I have joint custody of our children. I have a great support system. But yes, I am still bitter about my husband cheating on me while I was bedridden and scared for my babies. First, congratulations on your babies. Second, I agree with your stance on refusing service to them. How narcissistic of your ex. This is epic, adding insult to injury. Not the asshole. Honestly, it was really generous of you to even think it over. And I 100% guarantee he was assuming they'd get a friends and family discount. Face with rolling eyes. Not the asshole. As long as you handled it calmly, it's all fine. Also, that's quite some stones they have, to request such a service from you. No assholes here except for your ex. She seems like she has a good heart. Maybe I'm wrong, and asked, but it's fair to say no. And it seems like she didn't even make a stink about it. That's on your ex. What a dick though. Not the asshole. Your circumstances mean your unwillingness to be involved was perfectly understandable. And I personally believe that gender reveals are by assholes, for assholes. Ew, that age gap. Not the asshole, your ex is the only asshole here based on what you've written. Not the asshole. It's hard for me to imagine what kind of mental gymnastics your ex had to perform to be able to berate you because you refused to help celebrating the child he produced with the women he cheated on you with. He should be incredibly thankful and humble about the fact that you tolerate him at all around your kids after this stunt. The ignorance and entitlement of this baffles me. Please stand your ground and keep his toxic behavior out of your life as much as possible. Am I the asshole for farting every time my wife barges into the bathroom? Title sounds kind of .A, but hear me out. My wife and I have been married for 6 years. Like any married couple, we share everything. However, me being naturally a private person, I just don't like it when someone invades my private space. The bathroom, for instance. Let me just say that I take my time when answering nature's call. I just go in with my phone and do my thing. Recently, my wife started barging in randomly for no good reason. It freaks me out and also makes me feel stressed and anxious because my private space is constantly invaded. I don't get why she does. She'd barge in whenever I'm in there, tages a look around for a whole minute, then slowly walks out. I told her how I felt about this and she brushed me off saying, "You have nothing to hide. Why are you so worried about me walking in randomly?" I've had enough and decided I needed a way to curb her out since she has taken off the lock. One thing my wife hates about me is my farting. She absolutely hates the smell and says it's disgusting, so what I started doing is that every time I'm in the bathroom and she barges in, I fart. Like really loudly and produce a really, according to her, nasty smell. It worked because once she hears the sound she runs out. I thought this was the solution, but she picked up on what I was doing and discovered that I was doing it on purpose to keep her out. She started arguing with me about it, almost saying I'm banned from farting in the bathroom, which is ridiculous. I kept doing it, which kept pissing her off. Now she isn't even talking to me, saying I'm being a child and an asshole for this behavior. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Why has she taken off the lock? Married or not, you're entitled to your privacy when you are in the bathroom and you shouldn't have to justify that to anyone. It is not okay for her to feel that level of entitlement. She is your wife, not your owner. I discussed this with my husband. We decided what is good for the gander is good for the goose. When your wife attends to personal grooming, go sit in there and have a chat. There is no privacy, right? There is no lock on the door, so what is she even doing in there? You need to see. You need to look around. You need to let her see just how annoying it is to not be able to have some private time in the bathroom. You don't have to do it every time or stay long. The very idea that you might waltz in at any time should be sufficient to make your point. Your point that you all are entitled to a little alone time and you don't have to share everything. But my husband suggested you pull up a chair and bring popcorn. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Come on. Everyone deserves privacy in the bathroom. The only acceptable reason to barge in when someone is inside would be if you heard thump, called someone's name and heard no answer, then you rush to see if they're okay and not unconscious in the shower with their head split. Come on. I don't know what taking your time actually means. I have heard of men camping out on the toilet for hours, but if you are only taking even 15 or 20 minutes. And there is another bathroom she could use? Fart away. Fart like there is no tomorrow. Not the asshole. Everybody should be able to take a few minutes and have some peace and quiet. But if you are hogging the only toilet in your residence, you need to find yourself somewhere else to chill. Info. You can fart at will? It sounds to me like she is suspicious of you for some reason and wants to keep an eye on you even in the bathroom. But it's not right. She removed the lock? You aren't a child. This is some manipulative and toxic behavior. Info. How long are you spending on the toilet? I mean, I'm 90% sure you're not the asshole, but if you're spending half an hour at a time in there and she's using barging in as a way to get you moving, then it's more everyone sucks, I suppose. Info. Do you have children and disappear into the bathroom when she needs you to be caring for them? Do you do this when there are chores to be done, or right when the groceries get home? Is there another bathroom she can use? It sounds like there's something missing here. Am I the asshole for threatening my new neighbors with my dog? For some context, I, F28, just moved from my city to my first house in a suburban neighborhood about 6 months ago. Just me and my dog Oaken, a Dutch Shepherd. My dog is trained as a personal protection dog, PPD. I'm a runner and Oaken runs with me. We were running in our neighborhood's park and pond area. I had my AirPods in, it was just getting dark. I'd noticed in passing a guy on his bike on the same trails, and as we were coming around the pond he was stopped on our path. He waved us down and said he had dropped his keys, asked if I had seen them on the path, asked if I had a light on me because he thinks he dropped them in the grass, wanted to know if I lived in the neighborhood, which house was mine, if I was nearby because he didn't see any cars in the parking area that he didn't recognize, basically anything to keep us there and keep talking. Not scary, but annoying with a definite hint of creepy. After he forgot his initial story and said, "I'm gonna be so pissed at myself if I lost another earbud. That's my third pair and they're nearly $300 a pop." I moved to leave and he stood in the path and started asking about Oaken. Oaken wasn't doing anything aggressive at this point. No hair raised, no growling or barking. He was doing exactly what he was trained to do, and every time the guy would move to get closer to us he would just stand between me and him. The guy asked if he was friendly, asked to pet him, and I said I'd rather he not. He kept saying dogs loved him, blah blah. I again said no and we started to walk around the guy to go. That's when he decided it would be a good idea to try to grab Oaken's leash. I have no idea why, your guess is as good as mine. Oaken backed us up, low growl, showed his teeth. Didn't snap, didn't bite. We left. The encounter was strange enough I posted in the neighborhood app. Nothing accusing the guy of attacking us or anything over the top like that. Just that my dog and I had gotten stopped by a stranger out running and a reminder not to grab at a person's dog or dog leash without permission. Apparently, Park Guy's wife read the post and recognized her husband immediately, because since then she's been telling every neighbor who will listen about my aggressive attack dog. I've now gotten a letter from the WA and apparently the next homeowners meeting has breed-specific bans on the agenda. While I believe Oaken's response was appropriate and controlled, I'm feeling sad and disappointed that my new community has the wrong impression. I'm not out to terrify people. Am I the asshole for posting what I posted to the neighborhood app and apparently starting a feud with my new neighbor? Was I wrong for calling out Park Guy publicly? ETA. Yes, I have a home security system and cameras. The previous homeowners had a couple of collectible cars in the detached garage, apartment, and put in an extensive system. Park guy's questions about where I lived, etc. didn't immediately set off crazy red flags because I've been asked very similar questions by multiple women multiple times in the neighborhood too. I'm getting the impression I'm the youngest person in the area by a good 20 or more years because people have asked me who my parents are, who I'm visiting, etc. It seems like the only young people hanging around are ones who drive in from other places to get to the park, and this neighborhood seems weirdly territorial about their park. I will definitely talk to an officer about a report. NTA make sure to tell everyone about her aggressive predator husband. Edit. Mandatory. OMG, this blew up, thank you. I appreciate all the people who also want to defend the doggo. Not the asshole. That interaction was creepy as fuck, and frankly the guy is lucky that your dog is as well trained as he is, otherwise he may have been bitten. Don't feel sad. Just explain what happened and why you felt uneasy and what exactly led up to your dog displaying aggression protectiveness. Not the asshole. That guy is a creep. Edited to add. Since your WA is making a fuss, I would make a police report about the incident and let them know his wife is now harassing you. Fuck hoas. Not the asshole. Park guy was being a shady creep. You had no way of knowing he was a neighbor, and even if you had, the way he behaved toward you and Oaken was suspicious and bizarre, especially with changing his story. I'm wondering if there's something deeper going on there, with a history of creeping on young women and the wife knows it, and is just in denial about the veracity of his stories of how he always ends up in these situations with women who are always the ones at fault. But no matter what's at the core of it, whether it's a misunderstanding or something more, you did nothing wrong and were simply being safe when alone after dark and confronted by a strange man. Her husband was been really inappropriate and your dog gave him a very subtle warning. She's being dramatic about your dog, who had a normal and appropriate reaction to a stranger being a weirdo, because she feels bad about her husband being a creep. Really unfair for you and your dog, and hopefully people see through her crap fast. Not the asshole. TBH, I was scared just reading of your encounter. I'm a victim of repeated harassment and this sounds like he was trying to do some creepy if not full-out assault type of ish. If he's really so innocent, he needs to chill with that behavior. I would respond with a detailed statement of the interaction like you did here. Call him all the way out, girl. Not the asshole. I've trained PPD and their off switch as solid as can be. The dog acted how he was trained to perfectly. As a small woman though, I would have been massively uncomfortable and would have told the guy the first was calling the police because he was making me uncomfortable. There is no attack on record, so it's not like the WA can do much. Plus if they enact the law, then you can usually take them to court to be grandfathered in. That is within your legal right to do. Not the asshole. This guy's approach reads 100% how Ted Bundy got his victims. Update. Am I the asshole for yelling at my friend who flushed my anxiety medication? Original post. So, after my last post, I requested a room change and reported her to campus police. Emily was put on academic probation, and I moved to a new room. My new roommate could not care less, and is clean, so it's a win. Over Christmas break, I came out to my brother and Sil, supportive, and cut contact with Emily. My brother and Sil agreed to do the same. She yelled at me, but I was too done with her to care, and besides a few stares, she hasn't said a word. I've learned a lot about myself in these past few months. I found out that the friends I've had for a few months already are more supportive than she was. Eva and I even told them about our relationship, and they were actually happy, which surprised me. I'm not sure why. Honestly, I feel like I stepped out of a fog. I didn't know I could be happy, or feel okay. I didn't realize how much it hurt to try and live my life to not get preached at. Thank you to all the people who left sweet words and sent messages. I probably would have just let everything go back to normal otherwise, and nobody wants that. Emily should pray for a better personality while she is at it. I'm glad everything worked out for you. This is wonderful news. People don't often consider that friendships can be abusive just like romantic relationships can be. So it's easy to get lost in that fog you describe. I'm really happy for you, Op. Now you'll know how to recognize the signs if you ever come across other toxic people. Wishing you a good and safe life. Congrats. Emily was not a good friend. So glad that you've got a good support system. As someone who has withdrawn from meds before, I seethe for you. No friend would ever want to put someone through that just because of their backwards beliefs. Keep surrounding yourself with supportive people and being your authentic self, anxiety and all. Hope that the rest of freshman year goes well for you. Past people are glad about your relationship with Eva because you're happy and they are happy you are happy. Welcome to unconditional love. I am so glad you are safe from Emily now. Emily needs to repent and beg God to give her the gift of sanity. Glad you're okay now, op. Good news all around. For whatever it's worth, it sounds as though Emily might be having some mental health problems of her own. That level of possessiveness and hyper-religiosity might be a sign of some adjustment problems, at the very least. I say that only so that you don't feel bad about having been friends with someone like that. She may not have been bad, so much as unwell. Good luck moving forward. Op. I just have a feeling that your life is about to get a lot better over the next few years. Probably doesn't mean much, but this random internet stranger is proud of you for standing up for yourself.